If not there in YouTube land, Dan here from Geekcast Radio doing another Marvel Fresh Start review. This is where I've been going through a lot of the Fresh Start titles, giving my thoughts and opinions on most of the books, and letting you know if there are things you should be picking up, if they're good starting off points. This time I'm continuing my look at the Fantastic Four with Fantastic Four #2. For those that have not seen it, I did do a review of #1, and I liked it, although I did have some apprehension to it. I also thought, really, my biggest attraction to this was how it's really been handled in the sense of having Marvel 2-in-1 and this coming out at the same time, and it feels like rather two books that should be supporting one another are in conflict, and they're kind of cutting the legs out of one another. And I was a little bit disappointed the fact that the first Fantastic Four didn't actually have the Return of the Fantastic Four. But knowing this was going to see that happen, it had me a little bit more excited, and I thought, okay, let's see where this is going. I'm going to stick around at least for the next few issues. And I will say that for issue #2, I thought it was still a mixed bag for some different reasons, for a couple different reasons. What I thought it does well, and what I think Dan Slott has kind of shown is that, again, he has the voices of these characters, and I think when it comes to the quieter moments, like the family moments of them kind of bonding and joking around one with another, with Val and bugging her older brother, and Sue and Reed kind of getting along. I do like the dynamic he's taking there, like their relationship and how Sue's and Reed's respect for one another and love for one another. And in parts of this issue beginning, we actually get some narration, and it's through Sue Storm's perspective, and I thought that also showcased some of the issues I had as well. For example, quickly in, we get this joke about they come across this new world that was just created by Franklin, and it's they're going around the multiverse. We see that the Future Force is back, and they're been creating all these different worlds with the help of Molecule Man. And here there's this guy who kind of reminiscent somewhat of a Namor, and there's kind of a joke in there. And she also makes a joke about fanfic and not being canon. And I thought that sounded like Dan Slott. That did not sound like Sue Storm. I think Dan Slott does have a tendency to do that at times, where his voice is a little bit more louder than it should, especially for characters that it doesn't necessarily apply for. Him making that joke like that for Spider-Man or Tony Stark makes sense. Sue Storm, I don't know. Johnny Storm, yes. So I don't. It just sounded. I felt like a little forced, unnecessary, and out of character. I do like kind of the fact that they're kind of tying so much to the past Fantastic Four. But I will say, considering this is a book that has not been out for some time, for a couple years, if you're going into this blind or you've not read a Fantastic Four story in some time, I think you'll be really, really lost if all you know is have a general understanding of the Fantastic Four. Without reading Secret Wars or without reading some of the Hickman stuff. I don't know necessarily if you'll be able to kind of pick up on a lot of the little pieces here of who a lot of these characters are. So that might be a little bit confusing. I'll try to avoid spoilers, but there is one major spoiler in this that I'm going to have to go through, and that is that there is a reveal of a brand new character. And I gotta say, I love it when writers try to bring in new characters instead of just, it's easy to say, okay, we'll throw Doctor Doom in here, even though they did in the first issue, but saying, let's craft a new villain, let's try to create a new character for this team rather than going to the same old, and hopefully it works. And as a new villain, she was okay. Her name is, Entropy. I always want to say empathy, but it's not that. It's Entropy. And I find her design a little bit forgettable, to be honest. It seems a lot like a cross between Guillermo del Toro design and like a Hellboy character. I don't know. It just feels like a look that we've seen time and time again. Like this mask covering the face look with the extended crown. Is this something I feel like we're seeing a lot of that with the mask, like Batman Who Laughs, and it seems to be a look that for whatever reason is very common nowadays. And I thought at first she kind of comes up and she feels like a major threat. We're gonna introduce a major villain, you're gonna put a new person on the board, you got to feel like there's stakes here. And at first that does happen. This is a character that's legitimately destroying dimensions bit by bit. Everything that they created, she's been able to find a way to kind of destroy and bring into blackness. So right away, we know we're dealing with a major character, a character that can go after and stand up to Franklin Richards, who they even say in this book is more powerful than the Silver Surfer with ease. One thing I did kind of find disappointing, though, is that this is a book that is literally has unlimited potential in the sense of you are going to different dimensions that you're creating. And I like Sarah Shelley's art, but I felt like it's lacking a dynamicism that you would need for Fantastic Four. This is a book, obviously, your first person you think of is Jack Kirby and how he reinvented comics with this title. And then you have the avenue here when you're legitimately having dimensions that you can create. You can do anything. I was hoping to see some more creativity on the page, something like I would never see before, something that would kind of break the mold. And what we get here is serviceable, it works, but it feels like it's a wasted opportunity to kind of do something new, to kind of be in the spirit of the original Fantastic Four, to bring it back to its highest level, where it just seems like standard comic book art. I thought in issue 1 her art was effective in showcasing emotion, and it was suitable for that story. But once we get into here and we're going dimension to dimension, even how they're portraying like the destroying of these dimensions, it just seems a little too straightforward to me. It's not again, it's not bad, it's not poorly executed. It's just not like, even this, going through all these different dimensions. Again, it's okay. I guess, I don't know. Like, when I compare it, the thing I kind of have to go to is something like Silver Surfer, which I felt right out of the gate just felt special. Partially because it's Mike Allred's art and how it just had a different personality to it. This, I think, is something that's lacking. Again, that's more of a aesthetic choice, more of a subjective issue rather than an objective problem. But it is certainly something that I think is keeping me from liking this as much as I would hope to. The story structure, I think, is effective. It's basically them a race against time. How Reed Richards understands a situation where he's not, this group is not ready for a fight. These are kids. These are this is a discovery mission. This isn't a mission about being able to fight toe to toe with major villains and the conflict that ensues because of that. But having younger kids that maybe want to go against you, and or at least feel like they're capable of more than you're willing to let them do. So how that comes into play. But I will also say, going back to this villain, who at first I think is established as a threat, we see that she can go toe to toe with Franklin Richards. She's destroying dimensions, but also becomes really easily fooled relatively quickly. Like everything that was been built up right away, which leads to a pretty fantastic ending, a really great splash page that really want you to come back for more, but also had me thinking, I don't know, for this ultra powerful, seems like hugely intelligent villain that you just brought in, it seems like a really stupid move on her part. Like, it seems like she didn't think this one through fully. I don't know, maybe because it's Reed Richards just so smart that he was able to overcome it, but I don't know. So it just seems like, again, a mixed bag. For everything that I feel like it does really well, there's something that kind of detracts it a little bit. So I'm excited. We still haven't seen this group together yet, the Fantastic Four, fully. They're all appearing in the book. We're seeing all the characters, but we haven't really seen them be the Fantastic Four yet. So that is something I'm excited to see. And considering the little interactions we have gotten, those have been to me the shining moments of the book so far. The other pieces just haven't been as effective as of yet. It's, to me, a book that's still trying to find its legs. But I'm curious to see, knowing that Dan Slott is a person who loves to build off legacy of characters, bring in a lot from their past while creating his own anew. See where we go from here. So I would say, I don't know. If you're not a gigantic Fantastic Four fan, like I mentioned, and you haven't read the past Fantastic Four, you're not up on their history, I think this is a really challenging book to kind of just pick up. Especially considering other Marvel Fresh Start books, which are much more welcoming to new readers. So something like the Immortal Hulk, Black Panther, I think are better avenues to go through. Even Amazing Spider-Man, even Tony Stark, Iron Man from Dan Slott, I think is a little bit more welcoming. But maybe the idea was to gear it towards those Fantastic Four fans of the past, to bring them back. But then again, my question is is this something that's going to do that? I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm a Fantastic Four fan, but I'm not someone who's read every Fantastic Four issue. But I'm also, so I find myself again with this book somewhere in the middle. I like it. I don't like it. I'll continue with it moving forward. There's enough here. I think the ending was strong enough to say, okay, well, I'm at least interested to see where this goes. So it's successful on that end. But I guess I was hoping for more, considering especially how much I adored Dan Slott's run on Silver Surfer. And again, we'll see. It's not necessarily that it can't get there, it just hasn't got there yet. All right, well, that's all my thoughts and opinions on Fantastic Four #2. If you want to hear more from me, check out Geekcast Radio. Hopefully, we'll be bringing more stuff back. I'm hoping to bring back the Comic Concierge podcast soon once I get my computer fixed. But that's it for me. Just remember, comics are for everyone. The key is finding the right one. Until next time, thanks for watching.